Good morning. Welcome to your Kansas City, Kansas Community College Board of Trustees meeting for November 14, 2017. I call the meeting to order and ask that everyone please stand and join Dr. Terry with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Happy late Veterans Day to all of our service members and families that are here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks.
Thank you. Today, your Board of Trustees have a heavy heart as we will have an abbreviated agenda this morning in order to attend the services of our colleague, Trustee Clyde Townsend. At this time, I am asking the Student Senate President, Gary Lopez, to read the resolution by the Student Senate regarding the passing of Mr. Clyde Townsend. After the reading of the resolution, I respectfully request that all bow their heads in a moment of reflection in your memories of Mr. Townsend at this time.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Gary Enrique Bradley Lopez.
Hi, my name is Tamisha Singh.
And I want to thank you all for allowing us to read this resolution of respect for Board Member Clyde A. Townsend. The members of the Executive Student Senate team would like to send and express our deepest sympathy and condolences to the family of Clyde A. Townsend. Whereas Trustee Townsend served the community in many ways, from Kansas City, Kansas Community College Board of Trustee, BPU member, commissioner, and U.S. Army as Sergeant First Class during the Korean War. And whereas his commitment to the college set a great standard to students, staff, faculty, and Board of Trustee members on what it is to love and serve the college you represent, and where his love for the community set a standard for what it is to love and serve your community in different aspects to help the people you represent. And whereas Trustee Townsend's service to the community and the college expresses love, respect, and talent to all the entities he served. Those values that Trustee Townsend carried on are the values we hope the Kansas City, Kansas Community College body exemplifies. Therefore, be it resolved that our vibes of love and condolences be sent to the family, friends, and the community that Trustee Townsend served during these hard times. Be it further resolved that our next Student Senate meeting, we will acknowledge the service of Trustee Townsend and communicate with the members all his work done in the community. Respectfully submitted on November 13th, 2017, signed by all Executive Student Senate members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I ask that everyone please stand and bow your heads in reflection. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord henceforth. Yes, says the Spirit, let them rest from their labors, and their works follow them. Eternal rest give to Clyde Townsend, O Lord, and let the perpetual light shine upon him. Thank you.
Amen.
Roll call.
Trustee Ash. Trustee Breidenthal. Trustee Brown.
Here.
Trustee Daniels.
Here.
Trustee Garner.
Here.
Trustee Maddox,
Here.
and Trustee Rios.
Here. Ask for approval of the amended agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It is moved and seconded. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign, and the motion carries. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address your Board of Trustees at this time? Seeing none, we will then move to committee reports. Are there any board committee reports at this time? Hearing none, we will move to the consent agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda. Please note that it has been amended.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Mr. Chair, if you hold up a second.
Yes, trustee.
Before we finalize that, on item F, the approval of the 2018-2019 Neighborhood Revitalization Act.
That is not on this consent agenda, trustee. It has been moved to the December agenda.
Okay, thank you.
That was the amendment.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Hearing none. Those in favor of the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign, and the motion carries. Thank you. We will now move to our Finance and Administrative Services report, and it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Bill Miller, who will give a summary of our annual audit. Mr. Miller, welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I think everybody who knows me knows it's difficult for me to give a summary, but I'm going to do my best here this morning. So before you this morning is and I believe that was sent out electronically in your packets, was a copy of the audit report, a copy of the compliance report, and some required communications. I'm not going to deal with the required communications this morning, as I understand the board is going to have a board session later to discuss in detail some of those activities. But I would speak to both the compliance report and the audit of financial statements this morning. The audit for financial statements is an unmodified opinion, which frankly is the cleanest, we agree without reservation to the financial statements before you today. We did not note a material weakness in internal control, which we have had those in previous years at the college. We did not find that this year. There is not a significant deficiency in internal control. Again, we've had those instances in prior years, and that's not reflected in the documents that you see before you. I did want to take a moment to highlight a couple of items to you. If you could turn to page 34. The board specifically in the past has asked me about debt levels of the college and the relationship with the various cash flows that go on in that within the debt instruments that the college has currently. And you'll note on this page, you'll see a box down at the bottom. Those are merely some comments and notes that we made to assist you. They will not be in the final released version. But if you go to the beginning of 2015 and you roll forward 24 months, you'll see that the college has paid down approximately $7.7 million in debt, which is remarkable, and you should be proud of that because debt levels are down. And I say that in context of the balance sheet, which is on page 9. Again, you'll note my text box there for your communication. Cash levels at the same time your debt has fallen, your cash balances have increased nearly $2.3 million. And I think that's really the best way to summarize and reflect the economic activity over the last 12 months, but certainly the last 24 months, which the board has taken. Lastly, and then I will stand for any questions, on page 12, you'll note that there's the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. Your revenues are very consistent year over year. That hasn't always been the case here for for various reasons. But I would tell you that one of the reasons there's such consistency is, as I reflected with the Finance Committee, the systems and control here at the college are operating in a manner that year over year, things are beginning to go in the correct buckets the first time. So there's not, well, this year it was recorded this year way, and last year it was recorded a different way. Pretty consistent in year over year, and you can see that as you look through the revenue lines, your expenditure lines, and then your increase in net position, which is basically how much is the worth of the college from an economic standpoint grown in the last 12 months, and the answer at June 30th, and the answer is roughly $4.4 million. Okay? There are no significant changes to the footnotes in the current year, except for note L, which speaks to tax abatements.
Page 29.
On page 29. And I won't comment on that except for governmental accounting has now taken a position that these are material to the operations of governmental entities in the economic context of reporting. And as a result, even though the college doesn't issue technically the abatement, the fact that others are abating taxes paid on behalf of the college, they're required to report that to you, and you're required to reflect that in your financial statements, and we have done that here.
Bill, if you would, please, note the figure for our viewing audience.
So during the 2016 calendar year, not your fiscal year, because the unified government's on a calendar year, they report $1.387839 million in taxes which would have otherwise gone to the college were abated. Now, you can debate that, what that means, but that's the hard number of that.
Right, so I just want the trustees and the community to note the partnership that the community college has in the abatement programs of nearly $4 million, and then if you add the additional Neighborhood Revitalization Act abatements of nearly $400,000, we are nearly at $2 million in tax abatements for our unified government and its economic development activities. And I think that that is important for the new Board of Trustees to keep track of and to understand that there is a commitment by our institution to be partners with the unified government. We just wish that the unified government would acknowledge that partnership instead of continuing to raise the fact that there is 51 cents to the dollar toward education, and then your taxes then reflect heavily in education. We should be looking at that as an investment that we are making in our community and in our individual citizens to bring about vitality to our community. And so I just want to be sure that people are cognizant of this, and I welcome this addition to our annual audit.
The last comment I'm going to make is related to the compliance report that you have. The college is required under federal law to issue a schedule of expenditures of federal awards. These are expenditures that roll to the college through various federal and state programs, which are fundamentally federal dollars. In other words, even though you may get funding from the state of Kansas, it could be a federal grant of which you're a subrecipient. So if we turn to page 6, you'll see that at the year ended June 30th, 2017, there was roughly $15.2 million in federal funds that flows through the college for the benefit primarily of students, because the student financial aid cluster is nearly $14 million of that amount. That was the major program tested in the current year. We did not have any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in that area. And as I related to the Finance Committee, that is a critical component of how the college not only operates, but likely is the largest area of regulatory change and challenge in terms of compliance.
All right. Mary, please express to your staff our appreciation for their hard work and efforts as we continue to get only good reports. I know in my 12 years, it has been a stellar department and has worked very well with and for our students, and I certainly hope that your staff are cognizant of the Board of Trustees' appreciation of their efforts.
My last comment, Chairman, before I step away.
question, Mr.
Oh, go
Chairman.
ahead.
Yes.
On this report on page 6, were you able to determine the default rate?
Okay, so the default rate is something that is measured, what we're tasked with testing is not the default rate, rather the reporting that goes to the federal government for the purpose for them to calculate the default rate. So the federal government doesn't tell us to calculate that, but rather they ask us, are they reporting that information on a timely basis so that they can perform the analytics that they are doing on their end.
Right, right.
And that well could impact you, and that likely going forward, they may request even further testing from us in that area. But at this point in time, our testing is strongly revolves around the timeliness of reporting of that information.
Very good, thank you.
Okay. Lastly, I would like to thank Dr. Vietti, Bob Layton, who I know is not here today, Doug Welch, Marie Brandstetter, and of course Mary Dorr for their assistance. This is a timely report, as some historical members might know. That hasn't always been the case, so staff worked hard, and we met our internal objective of giving draft financial statements to college staff by October 31st, and so we can't do that without full cooperation, and we receive full cooperation.
Thank you, Bill, and I want to take this opportunity to express appreciation to you for your dedication in assisting the college and making sure its financial house is in order, not only through the audit, but at other times you have availed yourself to assist, and that probably goes unnoticed by the general staff and community, but I certainly want to acknowledge it because you don't have to do those extras, but you do, and it is just a demonstration of your professionalism and your commitment to our community. And so I express appreciation on behalf of the Board of Trustees, and I'm sure your continued service will be welcomed. I do want everyone to note that, over the about 12 and a half years, we're really working on our 6th CFO. There's been quite the revolving door in that particular area. And yet, through the assistance of a stellar auditing firm, we have been able to address all federal regulations and guidelines, stay in a course of due diligence, and frankly are in a better financial position today than 12 years ago. And I think that speaks again very highly to the rest of the staff that is in the business and finance department, of which Mr. Miller has to work to ensure that we have a clean audit, and we do. So I want to commend the staff of the business and finance office for their work in ensuring that our college is financially stable. It is an essential part. We are about students first, but we also know that we have to have resources and protect our revenues to the best of our abilities, and I feel that we are doing that. And the audit report affirms their good work. At this time, if there are any questions from the rest of the board, we welcome those.
Seeing none, your acceptance and approval of this report will allow us to file the required federal IDES filings, which are required by the end of the year, frankly, within 30 days. And secondly, the EMMA filing, which is the electronic marketplace where the bonds of the college are traded. So this provides us a timely framework with which to perform that. Lastly, I appreciate the comments. I'm particularly happy about that because I'm an alum of this school. Thank you.
I move acceptance of the audit summary.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to accept our annual audit. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign, and the motion carries. Thank you. We'll have the rest of the financial report. Is Marie presenting that, or Doug?
We have not entertained the prospect of presenting a financial report beyond presenting the audit findings.
It's on the agenda. We
We would
need to-
recommend that carry over to December. We're not prepared to report on it.
Not prepared? All right, but we do need to make payment of bills. We don't pay the bills, we'll be in a bit of a problem. Is that right, Marie?
Yes, we would.
Okay, the bills are
Well,
due for
it's just
your
an old timer that knows a little bit of what's going on.
Thank you for helping this newcomer.
Bills are there for your approval,
Okay.
and I don't know what else.
We would be happy to entertain any questions you have.
All right.
Marie, I just asked you anything that we should be aware of, you'd want the board to know about in this month's report?
There's nothing out of the ordinary.
Thank you.
Right, and that was reviewed by Finance Committee at length, and there were a few questions, but we were able to rectify those, and it is prepared for your approval.
The cash balance is such that we can't afford to pay our bills, and compared to last year, we're about $1 million ahead in cash.
That's very good news.
I move we approve the financial report as presented.
Okay.
Second.
Been moved and second to approve your financial report. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. And the motion carries. Thank you, Marie, and thank you, Doug. We'll now move, I do not believe there is any unfinished business. We'll move to new business. Approval of the college educational equity statement, insertion of gender identity to the reading. Is there any further comment?
The comment, and I did share this electronically in an email with the board, the intention of this is to align the equity statement with our published non-discrimination statement.
Move approval.
It's been moved to approve the new statement. Is there a second?
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. And the motion carries. And I want to express appreciation to the college administration for adding this important term to our statement, as we must keep current to the times and be as open a community college as possible, because our community college is made up of so many diverse individuals, and we want them all to feel welcomed to the Kansas City, Kansas Community College. Approval of the Presidential Search Committee. Board members, you have before you the Presidential Search Advisory Committee. You will see the trustee representatives, the community representatives, the faculty and staff representatives, student representatives, and an additional faculty representative. Facility representative, I'm sorry. Are there any questions? A motion to accept the Presidential Search Advisory Committee.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It is moved and seconded. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign, and the motion carries. For the audience's information, the Presidential Search Advisory Committee will be published on the website, also with a calendar, I guess I'll call them a calendar of events, for lack of better terminology. But the search process is well underway, and please keep in mind the dates of December 7 and 8 as those 2 dates will be very important, as we will be having our community listening forums on those dates. And those will be for both the internal and external communities. And we will be reaching out to all that are interested in participating to give their input into the process. And so again, those dates will be December 7 and 8. Specific times and locations, again, will be well publicized. So be looking for that information here in the coming days, actually.
And actually, we intend to send out a campus communique today or tomorrow with the specific times, the meeting groups, and locations. So stay tuned for that.
All right. We will be having an executive session. There will not be action to follow, is that correct? And so I want to extend, before adjournment, appreciation for everyone's attendance. Please know that the Board of Trustees will be attending the services for Mr. Townsend, and that is at the
First AME.
First AME Church. And so we certainly, those who are able, we encourage you to join your trustees in attendance of our colleagues' service if you are able. If not, we ask that your thoughts and prayers be with him and his family through the day. A motion to move to executive session for consultation with the college attorney to discuss unelected personnel matters to protect the privacy interests of the individual to be discussed. We would begin this at 9:35 and would conclude it at 10:05. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. And we stand to move to executive session. I call the Board of Trustees meeting back to order. We were unable to conclude our business in exec session, so we will need to go back into exec session. We will begin the new exec session at 10:10 and conclude at 10:20. A motion to approve moving back into exec session for 10 minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. And the motion carries. We'll return at... I reconvene the November 14, 2017 Board of Trustees meeting. We have concluded our executive session. Any further business before the board? Hearing none, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. And we stand adjourned. Thank you.